I'm ready.
What's going on, Visionaries? Welcome to the newest episode of Season 2. I'm gathered here with my boy, my friend, the Tanner Charles.
Brother, yes.
Tanner Charles, bro. Luchen, if you want to find him legally.
You know how to spell it?
Luetjen.
Yeah.
Did I get it
that's
right?
pretty good.
It's my medical brain. But yeah, quick word. Our boy Kevin, you know Kevin.
Kevin Lazo.
He's sponsoring today's episode, Wolf Co. Detailing Co. So if you're in Tulsa and you want detailing on your car, like if you're going on a date, you can't be having a nasty car. So hit him, Kevin. Tell him you're coming from Vision Room, and he'll give you a discount. So, Kevin, we love you. But bro, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome to the Vision Room Social.
I'm excited.
We've talked about making this happen like
months,
bro.
It just never worked out. Either you were out of town or I was out of town.
Facts. Bro, how long would you? We've been friends for how long? 2 years.
2 years.
We can call it 2 years.
Yeah,
we can call it 2 years. So I want to tell Visionaries just, I guess, how our relationship started, and then we'll kind of go into the rest of the episode. But I don't know what you remember. I know what I remember. But you can go.
Let's see. You go first.
Okay, so Tanner and I attend the same church, Battle Creek. We love you. And you've met Andrew. Andrew also runs with our little like squad. But my intro to Battle Creek was, I think in fall of 21, there was a young adults ministry called The Creek. And I got plugged in, and it was like my very, very first time. Like I didn't know anybody. And Tanner was one of the worship leaders, and Homeboy led Scandal of Grace by Hillsong, if y'all have heard it. But bro, you sounded like exactly like the track to me. And immediately I was like, bro, this is my guy. Is
that a good thing though? I feel like it's not a good thing.
No, you sounded like you, but it was amazing.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, bro. I think as a worship bro, it's hard for someone to get through to me, and you did. So thank you for letting the Lord use you.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Your turn. I don't know what you remember.
Well, so I don't know. This whole like past 2 years, it went by so quickly for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like, was the Creek going on a while before you got there?
It was like on its way up.
Okay.
It had a moment.
So it was downtown when you came, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because I remember, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I don't remember the first time you being there.
Yeah.
But I just remember you being there.
Like
and then,
one day just popped up. Like,
yeah. And then like you kept coming, and then we somehow like got on the same page and started talking. And then like in the green room, everybody's hanging out and chilling and just like playing games and stuff.
Yeah,
but
we had a good squad.
Yeah, that was a fun time.
Yeah. So for perspective for those listening, I'm pretty sure mostly everyone who's listening is from Tulsa, but the Creek, we had like I'm talking about like it was forever ago, but there was like a staple team, right? Like people that were there every week. So I would say that's when our friendship like flourished, like fall of 21 to spring of 22. But just basically grew up, like got closer, leading worship together, similar friend group, and now we're running it here. So
here we are.
Yeah, bro. So now we'll start the actual podcast.
That wasn't it.
I mean, technically it's going live, so someone's gonna listen to it. But first question is, so you meet a stranger and they ask you what you do. How do you explain that? The short version.
Oof. That's a very complicated question for me.
Yeah. How would you paint it? Yeah.
I'm in a weird spot of life where it's a lot of. I feel like I'm doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
But I feel like at the same time I'm not doing what I want to be doing.
Yeah.
Like I'm leading worship at Battle Creek. I'm gonna say that again.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm leading worship at Battle Creek like almost every week. I'm basically interning there.
Yeah.
Under Trey.
Worship department. Yeah.
And so, I just started getting contracted by them, but I'm also trying to make some other money on the side, just like valeting or doing whatever I can. But I mean, what I really want to do is like be a songwriter. That can go many different ways for me. Just because I love writing music in general. It's not necessarily one niche or genre.
For sure. Yeah, bro. I think Visionaries, I think one of the main things I wanted to bring Tanner on is because dude is stupid talented, super genuine, but I think you also paint that picture well of like you're like in the middle of getting to where you want to be. So I kind of want to get your brain on like what goes on in your head or what you're like actively doing to push the pin forward, you know, because it's not like you're not just like sitting there. You're like actively doing stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. It's scary.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you know you're kind of doing that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
But it just feels like a lot of waiting, a lot of patience. I kind of grew up thinking, well, honestly, I mean, growing up, I never even wanted to be in the music realm or do anything musically.
Yeah.
But like ever since I did start taking it seriously, like I had this goal for myself to either be successful or be famous by like 18. And like it was so
That's
unrealistic,
rare, bro.
but I was like, I'm gonna do it. And so once I got like past that point, and I was like, I hadn't done it yet, I became like super depressed, and it was just like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to do this. I'm going nowhere. Like
This is like late teenager years.
18, 19, yeah. And it was like my mindset was, oh, if you're gonna become famous, you have to do it while you're young, because nobody old ever gets famous. And
That's
I mean, I don't.
weird. Like some
But-
people barely start getting famous. Like,
It's true, but it's not true. Like
Yeah.
I always think back, like Laney,
Yeah.
Paul Klein. Like he started his band when he was like 21, but he didn't really pop off or anything until he was like 30,
yeah.
and now he's blown up and
Yeah.
just doing great. But yeah,
Yeah, dude. I want to take actually the timeline back a little bit, 'cause, like I met you and you were already like leading worship and stuff, but like, where you from, bro? Like, what did you want to do? Like, when did the music bug bite you? Because I know, like, now you're pretty decided that you're gonna be an artist or
Yeah.
would like to do that. But when did that like get in you?
When did it click?
Yeah. So you grew up in church, maybe, or
yeah. I grew up in church. Grew up in Tulsa. I've been here my whole life. The church I grew up in, it was kind of just like I don't know the word for it, but you know what I'm talking about, where it's like you go with your parents, everybody's kind of wearing like their button-up shirts and the
No.
dresses. It wasn't.
Give me one song from Sunday morning.
Oh my gosh, it's pretty much just hymns. It was just,
No.
But I mean,
Yeah.
what was I doing?
Yeah, so you grew up kind of going to church with the family.
Yeah. But I mean, I never really took it seriously. Never really had like I guess you said like a real relationship with Jesus.
And you weren't into like music yet.
Not at all. So I grew up, both my sisters sang. They were in a bunch of plays and musicals, and they're like still to this day incredible singers. They just don't pursue it, I guess, as full time or as much as I do. But yeah, I grew up. I knew I could sing. I loved to sing, but I always hid it. I wanted to be just like Bruno Mars so bad. It's hard. It's still all I want.
That's hard, though. Yeah.
But yeah, I always grew up looking up to him, and it was just like, I don't know. Growing up, I never had a set thing that I wanted to do. But as I got older, I was like, dang, I got to start figuring this out.
Bro, in high school, were you like the singer dude? Like people knew that you did, and like when talent shows come around, you'd go hard.
So no, not at all. Like even in high school, I would never sing. I remember like my senior year, I did a musical, or I think I joined the worship team too, my senior year. And that was like the first time anybody really heard me sing. And then that was when I started posting covers online too. So it's kind of like all at that one time.
So you grew up with your parents in church, but what kind of inspired you to start singing, essentially? Because I guess your family did, but yeah.
So anytime I get asked this question, it always just reminds me. So my sister Kelsey,
shout out if she listens.
out Kelsey. I'm the youngest of four, like by a lot. So it's my oldest brother who's about to turn 31.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a big age gap, and then Kelsey's my oldest sister. She's 29, and then Jenna, my youngest sister, is 27, and then there's me, and I'm 21. So
that's a big gap.
You know,
bro. You basically grew up by yourself.
might have been an accident there, some say, but
it was a gift from the Lord.
But yeah, Kelsey was always a big singer, and whenever I was in high school, she started leading worship at this church called Woodlake.
Yeah.
And
That's here?
Yeah, it's here. It's in Bixby somewhere. Yeah. And so I started going to the youth there, and ended up getting really connected and involved there. That was also kind of during a time when I was in my, what's the word? How would you say it? Like,
You're wildin'.
my wild area.
And your wild era.
My wild era.
That's what he meant to say.
Era.
And you were like 16, 17.
Yeah, kind of just doing whatever, partying, drinking, doing all the stuff.
Illegally. What a youth. What a youth.
What a youth. Youths.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, at like 15, 16, 17, I wasn't at church or anything. And then my sister started going to that church, and leading worship there. So I started starting to go back. And then she became best friends with one of the worship pastors there, and then kind of started talking to her about me. He was like, yeah, Tanner can sing. And I was like, no.
I'm not good.
Yeah, literally. I would
I'm not interested in that. Like, you gotta.
I would try to downplay it in any way possible. But eventually they got me up there. And like, I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
But like inside I was so scared.
Bro, and this is like 2015, 16-ish.
16 probably.
So I'm just being
Maybe
a worship.
17.
I'm just being a worship nerd. Like, I'm trying to think what era of like music that is. That's.
I mean, that's still probably at the height of like Elevation, I would think.
Yeah, Hillsong.
Obviously Bethel too. Hillsong, yeah.
So you get plugged in with the youth squad.
Yeah, so that was my first time ever singing on a stage, getting plugged in there. And even when I started doing it, I didn't necessarily fall in love with it. I wasn't like, oh, I want to do this for the rest of my life. But it was kind of just like the older I got, the closer I got to Jesus, and the more I felt like my heart changed and softened towards that. And even during that time, from ages 17 to 20 or 21, where I'm at now too, I also kind of grew into like the idea of music, and it was something I actually could pursue and that I wanted to do. So I started like writing songs when I was like 18 or 19. I mean, they sucked. Yeah. They really sucked.
You were barely starting, bro.
They're so bad.
You were barely starting.
And I thought they were great. Yeah, so I started writing songs then. And so at first I was like, oh, I just want to be an artist, because still at the time I had Bruno Mars in my head. And I was like, I can do that. And so I started writing all these love songs, and they were just so bad and cheesy. My love songwriting still hasn't gotten better.
No, we didn't talk about that.
But that's another story.
Yeah.
And then I ended up coming to Battle Creek it's kind of during COVID, actually. Or actually, it was right at the end of COVID.
I was going to ask what the connection was to Battle Creek, because,
Josh Herb.
Yeah. Our boy. But I'm trying to get him on the pod.
Josh,
dude.
If you're listening, you need to get on here.
He's cold, dude.
Josh will have a lot to add.
Yeah.
But yeah, quick backstory, I'd grown up with Josh my whole life because my older sister was friends with his brothers.
Yeah. I thought like she dated Josh or something.
No, she dated one of his brothers though, for a little bit. Yeah. Sorry, Josh. What was it? Oh yeah, and then so
Josh connected you.
Josh connected me. I mean, I don't know how, we were just planning on hanging out because we hadn't seen each other in a while, and then he was like, hey, I'm going to this church, Battle Creek, if you want to come. And I was like, sure. So it was just like a youth Sunday morning, I think. And
bro, they go hard.
Yeah, I saw Trey and Tim up there singing, and I was like, okay. Like, I don't know why. It wasn't just because they were awesome singers. I was like, that's what I want to be. That's what I want to do. And after the time, for some reason, I felt like so called to just be at Battle Creek. Not even necessarily leading worship. I just wanted to keep seeing what they were about.
Yeah.
So I started going there for a couple months, and then I ended up getting on the youth worship team with all of them. And then after a couple months of doing that, I somehow got connected with like the main worship leader guy who was in the main service, and they asked me to like come start singing in there. And so I've kind of been going ever since.
Bro, like kind of like a side tangent, but at least as long as I've lived in Tulsa, I feel like relationships for me has been one of like the craziest like currencies of life. Not
for sure.
Not because I'm trying to get opportunities, but like genuinely loving you and being your friend, and Trey and Andrew and all them. Like, it's my community, but like it just opens a lot of doors, dude. It's just crazy how a childhood friendship with Josh, who you hadn't seen in X amount of years, so now you're like one of the main leaders on Sunday.
It kind of turned out crazy. But I agree with you on that. I think, I don't want to say connections because then it makes it seem like a businessy type.
But relationships,
relationships and connections. It's just like being like creatives. I feel like we're the most relational / emotional people there are.
100%.
And so it's like we find like our life and our lives besides Jesus and God,
Yes.
like we get our life from them, and like building those relationships and having those deep, intimate relationships, whether they can give you something or they can't. Just, I think the opportunity to get to pour into somebody and them back into you is more meaningful than anything.
100%. Bro, like for me too, also like leading at church, like y'all can nationwide can tune into any stream, any church, right? And I think for me, like there could be more like stupid talented teams, but for me, like I would rather run with my friends and with my squad, like that connection, that synergy of like the bros and the homies, like that, like praising Jesus together feels more fulfilling to me. I don't know what your brain is on that. Like if you had to put a team together, like don't name names, but like would you go the talent route or like the relationships route or both?
So I'm gonna say in between. I think for me, it's all about the heart, kind of just behind it. Whether you're obviously, this could sound mean. Nobody wants to hear somebody up there screeching, screaming. While even though it could be the purest form
I've
of
seen
worship
it
ever,
happen.
but do you think they were like really worshiping?
No, they were being a distraction.
Okay. Well, anyways, I don't know. I think for me, it really just comes down to the person's heart and like the whole why behind their doing it. I think at the end of the day, like you said, there's thousands of people who can sing their faces off.
Yeah.
They're so good. And tons of worship leaders are amazing singers and artists, but like at the end of the day, it really just comes to why are they doing it? Are they up there because they want to be heard? Or are they up there because they want to praise Jesus and they want to lead people to an encounter with him?
That's good.
And so I think that's the biggest thing for me.
That's good, bro. Bro. So one of the points I wanted to hit with you coming on is obviously see you post like originals and you post stuff, but it's not necessarily like Jesus stuff. It's like love songs or like just creative stuff. And I feel like you kind of fill this role beautifully of like I kind of named her before we went live, but like Holland, I think is a good picture of that, of like she's an artist and her music's like life-giving, but it's not necessarily worship music. So I kind of want to get your mind on it, because like I think most frequently you just happen to sing worship music, but if you were just left to your own creativity, it'd be something else. So like kind of where you would see that going, or where your brain is with all that stuff.
Yeah. So I do definitely see myself kind of going multiple different directions with it. But as kind of like a starting out artist or like an emerging artist, I feel like it's difficult to get started when you're trying to go in so many different directions. So
yeah, like you'd have to be doing gigs.
And so I did finally not settle down on a topic or a genre, but like I've been working on this song with Brandon Benjamin from Victory. He produces all their stuff. It is basically a worship song.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you could also hear it and take it not as a worship song and maybe take it as a love song as well. I mean, you'll know when you hear it.
Like the Brandon Lake vibes, like it can go either way.
Brandon Lake's another huge inspiration.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love writing music and I love writing worship music, but I love writing pop songs. Really anything I can get my hands on. If I can write it, I just want to do it.
Yeah. I think, at least for me, bro, like I feel like some musicians or creatives feel like we have to fit a lane. Cause I think for you, it'd be cool, like hearing like a Tanner Love album, but also seeing you feature on like a Battle Creek worship thing. So that'd be like the best of both worlds. But I think because we're in church culture, it's kind of hard because I can't push the boundary too hard secularly. Not that I want to, but I can't be like talking about crazy stuff, and also trying to be on a worship album. So like, I guess it's a little bit of a balance, but it'll flow out of what your life genuinely is. So.
I mean, yeah, I think as long as you're surrounded by people who know you and know your heart, and I mean, no matter what you do, whether you're famous or you're not, like if you put out something or say something on social media, there's always going to be somebody who's like, you're wrong, or why'd you say that? And just like, it gets annoying, but it's like at the end of the day, you just have to know who you are and your heart behind it. And I think it just really comes down to that.
For sure. Bro, so right now, like if money didn't matter and stuff, what could you see yourself doing? Like working at the church, or like being an artist? Like if like they just gave you free reign, like you get to do whatever the heck you want, like what would you be doing right now?
That's a good question. So you said money wasn't
Like
an
money's
option?
not a factor. Like you just get to choose to do like what you want to do.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't know if this answer will surprise you. I don't think it will that much. I think I would like be a worship artist,
Oh yeah.
like Brandon Lake Lane type.
No, that's
vibes,
fun.
Pretty much.
No, I like that. So like my answer would be similar, but I don't. One thing I admire about you is that you have the boldness to like be tenor. Like me, I would rather be part of like an entity. Like you know how John Sal is like part of Elevation
Yeah.
Worship, but like I think he's gonna come up with some of his own stuff.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
He's my own, he's my guy, but like I'd rather be like one of the main dudes of a bigger thing.
Well, see, I would love to do that too. I
Yeah.
think that would be super cool, and honestly, could see myself eventually like moving into that or even liking that better because it's just like you're not alone. And
Yes.
you have a whole team of people and friends and family around
Yeah.
you.
There's pros and cons though, because like if you're an artist by yourself, like your creative realm is like it's all you.
Mhm.
It's all you.
It's scary once you dive deep into there.
Yeah. Bro, so we're gonna reach out, like the halfway point of the pod. I'm gonna show you a picture.
Okay.
I've talked to you. I've warned you about this. I've warned you about this. So we've kind of established at this point, Visionaries, Tanner group at church, artists. But y'all need to hear this boy. But I'm gonna show you a picture. You're gonna just raw react, and Nate will put it on the screen so people can see what we're talking about.
Does it need to be censored at all?
It does
Or
not.
Are we good?
No, we're good.
That one
freaking
picture,
do it.
the way that camera, literally, like my nose is so huge. The camera just makes me look like a little boy.
That looks like Tanner Luchin, bro.
It does look like Tanner Luchin right there.
But what were you doing?
Oh gosh. So where do I start with this?
I don't know, bro. I didn't want to. This is a Tanner episode, but it's real. It's in your life. It happened. So you just some.
I'll just get it out there. I'll do a quick start and then we'll get to that.
Yes.
I went on American Idol. It's out there. Everybody knows.
Everybody knows. That's the name of the episode.
If you would have told me like a year ago I was gonna get to do it, I'd have been like, oh no way.
I have so many questions.
Yeah.
But, okay, I'm gonna let you go, bro.
So what happened basically, I've been posting my singing videos and covers on Instagram, and then one of the casting producers for American Idol like DM'd me, was like, hey, would you be interested in auditioning? If yes, then you can hop on a couple Zoom calls with me and we'll practice some songs and I'll get you ready, and then I'll send you straight to like the executive producers. Because usually how it works with a regular American Idol audition is you sign up for like an open call, whether it's virtual or in person, then you have to go through like 6 rounds till you can actually get on the show. But since I went through him, I got to go like to the last round right before they tell you if you get to go audition for the real judges. And so I did that, and then they were like, yeah, okay, cool, we want you to come out here. So they flew me out to Nashville, me and my girlfriend Delaney.
How long ago was that?
That was October of 22.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so
The show
fly
aired
you-
February.
Fly you and Delaney at Double A Photo. That's,
At Double A Photo, yep.
Yeah.
She's going to be popping off pretty soon. So
yeah.
get her while you can now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I brought Delaney. Was so nervous going in there because it's like, it was like the hardest.
I didn't know that this. Oh, sorry to interrupt you,
No, you're
but I didn't know that this opportunity basically came finding you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you were just like being, I don't know, maybe faithful, or you're being consistent, like posting stuff. But for at least me as your friend, I think for me, like I know it went the way that it did, but I admired it a lot that you were like, this is a huge step, bro. Like a lot of people talk about it, a lot of people like think about it, but you actively like went and freaking did the thing. So it's scary.
It was
Very nerve wracking. You're like, bro, it's a national platform. That's so scary, dude.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for me, that wasn't even the scariest thing. It was like once you get in that room with like Katy Perry, Lionel Richie, and Luke Bryan, it's just like you see them and you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like they don't even look real. They look fake.
It looked like you're like in an AI simulated.
Seriously,
like,
it felt like a dream, and it went by so quickly, and I sounded so bad in my audition.
Bro,
I was so nervous.
Dude, I was shaking for you watching the TV, bro. I was like...
And everybody was. I was like the day my audition like aired on TV, I didn't sleep at all the night before just because I knew it was coming, and I was like, I know I sounded so bad. And so I was like, the world's literally about, like, the first time the world hears me, this is what they're going to hear. And I was so mad about it.
They had to hear something.
Yeah,
like,
but
you made it.
I would give anything to make that not be the first thing they heard. Because in my opinion, I sounded very bad. It was mostly because I was so nervous.
I get that. Well, so where was Delaney in that part where like you run out and then you get her?
So Delaney was planned / unplanned. So basically, I went there. You're supposed to have 3 songs to sing, just like 2 as backup, 1 as your main. So I had the first song I sang was a song called Colorblind, just a cover. And then the second song was a song I wrote called Golden Eyes.
I thought you were doing Golden Hour by Jake, bro.
See, I actually wrote that before that song came out. And so many of the comments were like, oh my gosh, this kid's just copying Jake. Like, I was like, no, if anything, no, I love Jake. So that's an awesome song. So,
so you had the original song that you played on the keys.
Yeah. And I didn't necessarily plan to bring Delaney in there, but I knew at the end of the day, it's American Idol, it's reality TV, and I knew they'd like it if I did.
Yeah.
And so I sang my first song, and they were like, okay, we want to hear more. And I was like, okay, well, I've got this song I wrote for my girlfriend. She's actually here with me. And they were like, oh my gosh, really? And I was like, yeah. I was like, can I run out and go get her? And then they were like, oh, yeah.
Was that exactly how they were?
Literally, like, they were screaming. Like, Katie was like, oh my gosh, it's so cute.
Yeah.
So yeah, we definitely played into like the young love thing.
Yeah.
It's part of me now. Not that I regret bringing Delaney, because I love Delaney, and it was so fun to like share that experience with her. But like, part of me now kind of regrets leaning so much into like the gimmick,
the story.
like literally the story, and not leaning as much into like just me as a singer and as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something I wish maybe I could have changed.
Yeah.
But in regards to that picture, they had us like in this. It's like this booth.
After you make it.
That was right after. Literally, the second you get your ticket, they rush you to interviews and more pictures and promos. Literally every day. It was like 8 to 10 hours of interviews and pictures you had to take.
Bro, for some reason, I thought that they would like, this is a weird thing to observe, but that they would like dress you or something. And I was like, I've seen that sweater like last week.
Yeah, I probably wore it at church like the week before or something.
Yeah. So like, I thought that they would be like, well, just pick whatever you want to wear and eat whatever you want to eat. But it was more like,
I mean, so that's one thing they are good at, is like just letting you be you in a way. I mean, they want you to be you, and they want you to be your most authentic self. So like, you go in there, you can wear whatever you want. I could have walked in there with like my shirt off or I'm not gonna, But like, and they probably would have been like, oh yeah, this is great TV. Like, literally, they just want something that's going to get the people to watch, whether it's a love story or some crazy weird dude.
Yeah.
Or like the pants on the ground guy. They love that.
Dang. Yeah, bro. So you go through that process, right? You end up staying for how long? Like,
staying where?
Because you make it, right? The first round?
Yeah, Nashville was the audition. Make it past that.
And then after that, what's the commitment like after that?
So my audition was in October, and then right after that, it was Hollywood Week, which is in December. So we got like a little month in between to prep. And going into Hollywood Week, I felt so ready. Had all my fits picked out.
You're like, I made it. I got my chance.
Seriously, I was happy there, but at the same time, I was like, I know I can get farther. And so even going into Hollywood Week, I did my first performance. I sang a song called Yours by Conan Gray. It was just me and the piano up on the stage, like singing for everybody, like all the other contestants and the 3 judges. And like, I killed it. Like I was so happy with how I did. Like I started like tearing up after, and I was like, yes, finally. And like I got a standing ovation from like Katy Perry and all them. And I was like, okay, I'm set. I'm good.
Dang, dude.
And like I had all the producers like in the interviews been like, yeah, they love you. Like, we think you're going to go really far in this competition, so we need to get a bunch more interviews with you for later stuff. And I was like, okay. Yeah. So they were taking me back for interviews a lot more than the other contestants. And I was like, okay, this is a good thing.
Yeah.
And then the duet round is right after that, like 2 days later. And I get paired with this girl named Caroline Cole. She sang a Katy Perry song on there. And she was great. She was super nice.
That's hard, bro.
Yeah, she had a fun personality, but I think we just didn't necessarily mesh voice-wise and musically. And I'm not going to say that. I think the song choice wasn't perfect for me. It was a lot better for her than it was for me.
Yeah.
And so we did the duet. It felt weird. Even during it, I knew it felt weird. And they didn't say anything else to me. Like, they judge you right after you sing. So they'll be like, you're going home or you're not, or you're both going through. And she just like, Katie looks at me and she's like, Tanner, you're going home. And I was like, okay.
Ouch.
Cool. Okay.
I'm giving up on my dreams now. Don't talk to me.
Seriously, I wasn't mad, but I was more confused just because of what everybody else, like producers, everybody else had been telling me.
So I guess like I knew this story, but I think I wanted to hear a little bit of what was going on inside of like, how do you process that? How do you come back from that? Like, I think because I've been in a situation where I was maybe judged. I was not on American Idol. Do not look it up. It's not a thing. But I've had like people I respect be like, yeah, it's not it. And I spiraled. Like, I just was like, okay, well then if this person I respect says that I'm not doing this, then I'm probably not good at this. And it was a hard thing that God had to redeem for me. But for you, that's a different level of like judgment and like exposure and stuff like that. So I feel like you've handled it healthily. I know we all have insecurities, at least when it comes to like music and stuff. But yeah, just let us in on a little bit of the emotion and like what was going on, bro.
Yeah, no. So literally right after I got told no, they do everything so quick. It was like 10 minutes after I got told no, I was on a
plane.
Almost. I was on a bus back to the hotel, and then they had already booked my flight for the next morning. They're quick.
That is cold.
Yeah, they have no mercy. But yeah, I mean, I was pissed at first, kind of. And then
Hollywood Week, did you get to take your family?
No, it was just me.
You?
Yeah, which I honestly liked because I was able to make so many friendships there with like all the other contestants. Like one of my really good friends, Megan, she got second.
Yeah.
And she's like a Christian worship artist as well, kind of country too. But
was it this one was it Ian Tongi season, right?
Yep, Ian won. Which, to be fair, like in Hollywood Week, he was singing all the time for fun, like while we were waiting. And like when I heard him, I was like, yeah, he's gonna win. I literally knew.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I was pretty upset, especially when I got home. I kind of felt like,
what am I doing?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what to do now. I felt like I had like not only let myself down, but I let my family down just because I was like, oh yeah, I can do this and then I can start my career. And it took me like a month or two to kind of get out of that headspace. I feel like for a while I was kind of depressed and I was just like, should I even be doing this? Like, is music something I should be doing? And I kept on praying so much about it. And I don't know, like what you said, if you have somebody you know that tells you shouldn't be doing this or like you're not good enough, I mean, it's gonna sound stupid.
It's hard, bro.
But it's really just like what you do with that information. Like, I'm gonna keep going honestly till God tells me to stop. And so people can say anything they want. I mean, luckily I'm not getting like a ton of you need to stop or like you shouldn't be doing this, but like I'm gonna keep going till I feel like I should stop.
For sure, bro. And I think outside looking in, like you're super aware of your situation, but I think for the general public, like, it's super respectable and super like, dang, bro, like you freaking did it. Like you went and like, that's further than like 95% of singers in the country would have done or have done, bro. And, like for me, just as a friend to you, dude, like I admire that you're still like super present at church and still freaking chasing the dream. And this, I think it's something that I relate to a lot because, as musicians and dreamers / visionaries, I think the biggest thing is to like keep pushing through a lot of that stuff. Cause I mean, you know my story, you know stuff that I've gone through and it's like I'm still not quite where I want to be.
Yeah.
And there's still times where I'm like, what the heck am I doing? And it's like, why am I spending all this time and resources on this? But I think we'll get there, bro. Like
Yeah.
I see a lot in our friend group. Is like, I think we just gotta keep showing up, bro. We're all grown up. We're all like building something together. But I believe in you, dude. So
I think that's something I've actually been learning a lot recently, is to like be present, be faithful, and kind of just obedient and okay with where I am right now in the present. And it's like, if I'm here right now in Tulsa, then God wants me here. And if I'm not here in 6 months, then God had other plans for me. And it's like, I've spent so much time just worrying and like literally staying up so late, not being able to sleep because I'm like, oh my gosh, like I don't know what to do now. I don't know what I'm going to do. Yeah. My parents want me to go to school, but I hate school. I can't do that. I can't become a business major. That would probably be the death of me. Yeah. I tried it. It did not work. But yeah, I think just being faithful.
Where'd you go to college when you did?
So I did a year at TCC my freshman year because it was free. And then I was like, I hate school. And I was like, well, maybe if I go to a school I'll like school better. So I went to ORU for a year. And then,
I forgot you went there, bro.
I practically like flunked out. And then I was like, all right, I don't think this is for me. And it's kind of when I started fully pursuing music and worship and ministry. Yeah. But yeah.
Dang, bro. I feel like I went on a little bit of a roller coaster.
It's been a lot.
Yeah, bro. So, I guess what advice would you have for like, I guess people that may be somewhere similar to you, like stuff that you're learning right now, about like pursuing the dream, about staying consistent and still like, because I feel like you're still trying, dude. Like it's not like you found out that college wasn't for you, and all this stuff. But I guess like what life would you speak into someone that's maybe in a similar space that you're in, like, how I'm trying to find a better way to explain it.
I think I know what you're saying. Yeah. I'll kind of go back into what I was saying before. The biggest thing I've learned, and I feel like the biggest piece of advice I can give people who are in a similar stage of life as me, is to really just be faithful in the present. I think
that's good.
It's so easy to get caught up in what you could be doing or what you want to be doing that you're missing out on all the things you could be doing right now. And so,
bars.
I don't know. I think, I really did. I just wasted so much time worrying, and it really got the best of me. It affected me mentally. It affected me musically, honestly, too. Like the songs I was writing, they weren't songs I wanted to write. They were songs that I thought would do well, and they weren't actually me, if that makes sense. So I think just be you, know what you're doing, but also like learn to hear the voice of God and be able to trust that.
That's good. I tell you, like, I'm coming on The Voice now. I was like, hey.
Special announcement. No.
Bro, thanks for coming on the pod, man. Yeah. How can people find you? Give us your stuff.
What is my Instagram, man?
I think it's at Tanner Charles Official.
Oh, yep. It's at Tanner Charles Official on Instagram.
You had to change it, right?
Yeah, Idol made me change it. It was like Tanner Charles 02 or something before, and they were like, numbers don't do well. And I was like, okay.
Wait. I'm sorry, bro. Hold on. I know we have to bounce in a little bit. I was just curious. How did you handle like the slam on social media? Because like American Idol like collab reeled with you. So like, bro, I don't. How'd you handle that? Like, there's so many DMs, all your local friends, a bunch of national people trying to get a hold of you.
Yeah. It was like, like when people say you kind of find out who your real friends are.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that was a definitely interesting time because people I hadn't talked to in years or like I knew didn't want to be necessarily friends with me. Yeah. When they heard that I was on American Idol, they were like, "Hey, bro, we got to catch up sometime." So proud. Like, and I was like, some of them, I'm not going to lie.
Whoops. It's all good. It's all good. I was heated, bro.
Maybe that's a sign we should stop.
No. This is good.
Yeah, some of them were just like trying to get me to hang out, and I haven't talked to them in years, and they never showed like any sign of wanting to be my friend before. And so, like, if I'm being honest, like, I didn't respond to some of them. And maybe that wasn't the right choice, but, like, at the same time, I was like...
Disrespectful. I think that I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, bro. Like, if you don't want to be friends with me, then I don't want to be friends with you just because you want to be friends with what I've done.
Bro, I know we have to leave it a little bit, but I feel like that would open a whole other can of worms of like people reaching out to you when they see that you're doing well. Cause it's,
Oh yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's happened to me. Like I've had people that, I think for the most part, I don't stir bad blood with people, but for sure, like any person, like we're not perfect. There's people that we're going to do wrong. And so through the course of me moving and the podcast and all that, I've had random situations where people will like, hey bro, I was thinking about you randomly. I was like, bro, I've not talked to you since 2018, my guy.
Yep.
Like, so it's just weird, but you were faced with that reality, like very fast. I'm just like,
It was weird. I mean, I'm glad it happened though.
Yeah.
Because like, even before I went on Idol, the people who knew, I was kind of able to just build my community and like my small group of friends who I really trust. Because I think that's one of the most important things you can have. But
I think, bro, for myself too, like I think you went kind of MIA for a little bit, trying to process everything. So I think the people that actually had your number and would actually see you with life, like that's the people that like love you, dude. Like that we're able to still like there was grace that even though you were like handling everything, like we're still like once the hype of that died down, we're still around for you.
Yeah,
you know? So
for sure.
Yeah, surround yourself with good people. Keep receipts.
Keep receipts.
All right, bro. So Tanner Charles official. Maybe catch him at Battle Creek Church.
Yes,
Worship.
yeah.
If you want
This
to
Sunday.
This Sunday. Yeah. We
Most Sundays.
I would say we run it together at least once a month.
At least, yeah.
At least once a month. So us, Andrew, Trey. I'm trying to get Trey on.
And then I should have my song out in the next month or two.
So we're filming this in early June. So you want to say July-ish?
I'm gonna say
Late.
I would think late July.
Late July or August.
Follow me on social media.
And he'll keep you updated. Bro, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me, yeah.
Visionaries, we love you. We'll see you later.
Tell me who you know that brings hope to the things that were hopeless. Master to the pieces that's broken. Only one to change your life in a moment. Only one. Look, yeah, I can feel the blessings coming after me. Practicing my faith is staying strong so it don't